Alrighty then. Guess that's about that time of starting up the stream. Looks like everything's stable. Maybe I can actually get some things done today. I've got a cat showing up. Don't eat the microphone. Yeah. Just get big old cat butt on the stream today, I guess. Alright. So it's a Saturday. This is not when I usually stream, but there's a bunch of folks streaming today under the Dev Sauce community for a 24-hour hackathon. Hello there, I pronounce you. How's it going? Unlike the last month or so of streams, I today am not going to be hacking on Firefox Color. In fact, I've seen it's encouraged that you start a project from scratch for this hackathon. It's a 24-hour hackathon, and there's stuff going on today where I doubt that I will be able to go for the rest of the day. In fact, I'm already very late. I should have started at 10 a.m. and it's now 2:30 p.m. But let's see what I managed to get done. So what I'm looking to participate in today, start the scene switcher so you can follow along with me to my browser. Yes, scene switcher's working. Awesome. So what I'm hoping to do a little bit towards today is the Hackalong. And there's some folks who are already well underway with this thing. And the main things that are going on here is there's some prizes. I'm not all that worried about the prizes. I'm just kind of looking for a reason to motivate myself to stream today, to work on some side projects, and there's some themes. There's build anything, so I guess I could build anything. There's create a tool that can help bring a community closer together. And I might have an idea for that. There's a create a tool that can help show off your work to others. I had thought briefly about indulging in my time-honored, time-wasting project, which is to rewrite my blog software from scratch. Because for years, I've been using my own homebrew stuff that's similar to Jekyll, creates a static site. And I guess that's showing off my work if I consider my blog posts to be my work. Hello again, I pronounce you. How you doing? But I don't know. Rewriting an existing blog is kind of boring to watch, and it's kind of interesting work, I guess, but I don't know that I necessarily want to stream myself doing it. Create a tool that can help bring a community closer. The idea I got for this, and I've been kind of hacking towards this in other projects, but I'm going to start it from a blank slate today. Hello, Namto94, how are you doing? What I may end up trying to work on today is something kind of simple. I'm pretty new to streaming. I know there's lots of stuff out there like Muxy and Streamlabs and things like that to kind of like add an interactive layer to your stream. But I'm a glutton for punishment, and I often want to build my own tools. So I don't know, something I might play around with today is to build a combination chatbot and graphical stream overlay. Has the hackathon started? Yeah, the hackathon started, I'm actually very late for it. Started about, what, 2, 3, almost 4 hours ago? There's lots of other folks under the Dev Source, or Dev Sauce community who've already started. But I guess I can consider I've started because I've been thinking about it all morning while other things are happening. So anyways, what I think I'm going to try building is a chatbot that, I don't know, maybe a chatbot that'll fire off fireworks on my stream. It's nothing super original. There's tools that already do this kind of stuff, but I'm going to try to build it from scratch. So it's going to consist, I think, of a chatbot that connects to Twitch's chat servers. And that's gonna connect to a web page that I can put on my stream with the OBS browser source. And I have a vague idea how all these things can come together, but I've never done it all before. So I'm going to be doing lots of Googling and whatever along the way. So I think the first thing I might start with is the chatbot. So that might end up being semi-interactive right away. Like once I get the thing to connect, I'm going to try to have it like responding to some commands and things. And then once I can get the chatbot going, I'll build maybe like a minimal web server and a page that can talk to that server with WebSockets. So then the chatbot, actually the chatbot and the web server can be the same thing. And I think I'm going to build it using Node.js. All right, so this is always the toughest part. Starting from the complete blank slate. And my music stopped, so we're going to keep going with that. Let's try, oh no, my music player crashed. This is another thing that I've been like working on from time to time. This is a fork of someone else's project called Chip Machine. I think it's kind of a cool little chip music player. You can search for, you can kind of do type ahead search for music and it'll just download it from sites online, which is pretty cool. But that's running again. So back to the blank slate directory. Let's I don't know, I'm gonna call this something stupid like, let's call it SparkleBot. So, that's not where I want to put that. So there we have an empty directory. Next thing I'm going to do is start to populate that directory with things. I found one of the, so I kind of go back and forth. So I'm using Windows to develop these days, and I go back and forth between the Windows subsystem for Linux and PowerShell. I found that PowerShell and Node work a little better than WSL and Node, and it seems to do with file I/O, like maybe running it on native Windows instead of in the Linux subsystem can handle lots of little files faster. Could be wrong about that. It might be subjective. Let's get in my dev directory. SparkleBot. Empty directory, so the first couple things I do. I know a lot of folks start from the like canned bootstrap projects like Create React App, and things like that, but I like to start from absolute scratch and glue things together myself because generally when I do these projects I'm learning. So I want to kind of learn how to cook the dish from scratch, sort of. So we're going to start a git init that creates our repo, and then try an npm init since I'm using Node. I'm just going to go page through all these things because it doesn't really necessarily matter right now. So now we have a not so blank directory. And one thing I'm going to say right now is that this is a private project. Okay, so what do we need next? Well, this is going to be something I launched in the command line, so how about I just start from a simple index.js. There's going to be more to it, but let's just start from that. Oh yeah, that's right. I just reinstalled this machine recently, so there are some things that are funky about it. And there's one thing I want to fix real quick. And it's that I don't want folding enabled. Yeah, we don't need that. Yeah, let's turn that off. Alright, let's get back into our project. I kind of like to iterate just to make sure I'm doing the right things along the way, so I don't know, let's do something stupid. Let's do a hello world. Make sure my node works. So that's a neat feature about Node, is you can run index.js, but also you could just run the current directory and it'll find index.js. So what do we need to do next? Well, we're going to want to talk to Twitch. How do we talk to the Twitch chat? I've got another project I started working on this a bit, but that might be cheating to look at, so I'm just going to start Googling and you can watch me. Oh, you know what I need to do? My music is stuttering. And that means this is the thing that's annoying. So while I'm streaming, I have found that everything goes to crap on this laptop unless I go to Task Manager and raise the priority of my music and OBS to at least high. I don't know if that's a thing that lots of other people run into or what. Alright. Node TwitchBot. Is that what I need? I'm sure this is a very well-known thing. Got some YouTube videos. I don't necessarily need to watch one of those videos, I just kind of want to know some starting points. And I guess the helpful thing to stream here is just kind of share what I do. And part of that is I just shotgun a bunch of tabs open with a Google search. And I don't have to read them all, I just kind of skim them. Like, this is a chatbot someone made, and it's about 3 years old, so maybe I don't want to pay too much attention to it. This one is much newer, so what does this project use to talk to Twitch? And actually this bot has a lot of interesting stuff in it, so this is maybe something I'll be building something similar to. But what packages do they use? They use twitch.js or twitch-js. Interesting. Yeah, I might want to do some testing. So actually that's a good set of modules to install first. Let's say I like Mocha, I like Chai, I like Sinon. What else do I tend to use? I'll probably use Webpack at some point. Who knows? Let's start with those for now. I'll just start it over again. Does it have an end date? It does not. It's not ending? Okay. Oh wait, I didn't save that as a favorite. There we go. It's a favorite now. But yeah, one of the first things I tend to do is just kind of grab a bunch of modules with npm so I have like a starting point. Let's see, this one's using Mongo. It's using AnyDB. So another thing that I've been using lately. In case I have to save anything, that's a pretty good little embedded database thing. Make your own TwitchBot TMI.js. That's claiming to be a fantastic library. I want to say I found TMI before, and there's another one that's like newer. Maybe it's Twitch.js? Yeah, maybe that's what I'm looking for. It's a fork of TMI.js, and it smells like politics. Whenever something forks, and whenever it's community-centric, community-supported, I don't know why this was forked. Looks a little more active than the other one. But I have no idea. I wouldn't like to insult anyone who is working on this stuff. Yeah, it looks like PMI.js hasn't been worked on very recently, whereas Twitch.js looks very active, so... Well, somewhat, yeah, pretty active. So maybe I'll work with Twitch.js. And it does look like Twitch.js has some chat integration. Cool. Alright, let's grab that. And you know what else I think I might want to work with is there's this module I like. It's called Commander. It's good for command line options and things like that. Yeah, let's load that in too. What else do I need? Winston is a nice logger. I'm going to want to have some more interesting log output maybe. It's probably early for that. I'm going to want to have a web server at some point. Hey, Axiom Infinite. Thanks for the well wishes. We'll see how far I get. Got a little rye here. Hoping that helps. What else am I looking for? I do want a small web server. Question is, what do we use for a web server? You're like day 30 of programming? You mean like day 30 of learning to program? Either way, I'm expecting to stream for a couple hours and then take a break every now and then and watch everybody else too. I'm certainly not going to be really stressing about getting something done for this. I'm just kind of looking to participate a little bit. Oh, cool. Well, I hope it's going well for you. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. I haven't touched Java in a long time, but it's a language that I started using Java when it first came out. I spent a few years doing stuff with it, but it's been a while. I think we'll just come a long way. Yeah, screw it, I'm gonna use Express. On another project, well, you know what, maybe I'll use Koa. So, Express is kind of the venerable Node web framework these days. Been using Koa on another project, which is another web framework. I love how they all call themselves next generation. I don't know if there's a successive generation from Koa yet, but it's from the folks that made Express. Seems like it's slightly less mature, but they seem to be pretty productive with it. Yeah, screw it, I'm gonna use Koa. And one of the nice things about Koa is it works really well with async, await, and promises, which are all very handy when you're doing network operations, which who knows if I'll get into doing that, but we'll see. Alright, so I've got some building blocks installed here. What do I want to do next? Well, let's see about connecting to the chat server. My developer, yeah, so my day job, I work for the Mozilla Corporation. I work on, actually this is what my day job is right now. I work for Mozilla, and I currently work on Firefox Test Pilot, which is we've had it going for a couple of years now. It's a program where we're trying to experiment with potential new features for Firefox without doing it in like a fully voluntary way. So you can come in and try these things, give us some data. We can kind of help that to decide whether we want to move forward further with it in Firefox itself. And lately I have been working in particular on color. In fact, my last bunch of streams have been me working on adding some features to that. So yeah, professional developer. Oh geez, I've been developing for a paycheck for probably close to 20 years now. Mostly web development these days. So you know what, on this particular part I'm going to cheat because I have another project. Oh, actually I don't think I have the data on this computer because I just reformatted the hard drive. I'm going to create another Twitch identity for my bot. Super cool. Hopefully you can join me in being a developer. That's cool. I wish you a lot of luck. Like I said, I haven't played with Java a lot lately. Most of what I do is web development, but I do know there is a lot of Java out there on the web, and of course, I mean, you can use Kotlin, but I know Android development has been a lot of Java. Good language to learn. Yeah, I'd say my main advice to somebody learning programming is go ahead and do tutorials and stuff, but do try to find a side project that scratches an itch for you, because you can only get so far doing like generic exercises before it might seem kind of boring. Always helps to, like, even if it's just a small tiny thing, something that like does something useful for you, scratches an itch, or is at least fun. Well, thanks for stopping by, and good luck in learning Java. Yeah, here's what we're gonna do. So one of the things I've noticed, one of the things I figured out is you've got to give a chatbot credentials to sign into Twitch, and that means an account. And I don't want to give it my account. I'd like it to run under its own identity. So, I don't know, let's call this thing... Let's call it SparkleBot. Alright, already exists, that's cool. Another name I like... Let's try that. Can I always change it later? Okay, that's cool. Caffeina, because like my first domain name ever was decafbad.com, and I really like coffee. I don't want you to see my new password. You know, I'm gonna drag this off screen for a second. You're only gonna see dots, but you don't even need to see the length of that password. And what I'm doing here is this is gonna be the name of my bot. It's gonna hang out in my channel and do fun things. We're gonna give it a password. And I've got a password manager, so I'm not even typing this password. Then I could have this bot log in as me. But I don't really want that. Gotta do a CAPTCHA. Go. Really tired of reCAPTCHA. There we go. Yeah, I don't want to do that right now. Let's just skip that for now, can we? We can't skip that? Okay, well, let's say, maybe there's a better way to do this and I don't know. Can I type? Yeah, there we go. And, do I really have to pick these things? Another game. Yeah. There we go. Programming creative and dead cells. Now leave me alone. Let me get. Cool. What I'm doing this for is I need to get to the identity. Actually, I'm going to do this off screen also. This is where it gets tricky to stream, is hiding secrets from the channel. So that y'all don't steal my secrets. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to create a file and then never look at it again on stream. Or at least be careful about it. And I'm sure a log message at some point will reveal these details, but... nice thing about this way of logging in is it's not like I'd ever be accidentally revealing a password and be revealing an OAuth token that I could always reset. I'm gonna do this off screen. There we go. And that's gonna give me a token. You know, we're gonna do that off screen also. Secret. Alright. I'm just grabbing the OAuth token and stick it in a JSON file, and I'm doing it off screen so I don't accidentally reveal it to you folks, because you don't need to know it. But I'm gonna need it to play. But what we can do next, and I'm probably going to accidentally click on it at some point. So let's do this. Let's make a config directory. Yes. And then we're just not going to look at that again for a while. And a nice thing you can do in Node is you can actually require a JSON file, like a module. It's going to be very tempting to log this to console. But let's not do that. So far, so good. Oh, not defined. Why is it not defined? Because I can't type. It's not defined because I can't type. I'm full of typos today. Okay, so it's got the token. Now what I need, along with that, let's look at some examples of the chatbot system, or the chatbot module. Yada 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 da da da. Yeah, copy pasta this. Again, just what I'm doing here is I'm building like a quick and dirty chat bot for Twitch, and it's going to show up in my channel at some point, so whoever is a lucky viewer will be able to mess with it. They probably won't do much at first. I'm gonna give it some options. You know what else? This is bugging me. I'm gonna copy over. Bring an editor config over here. Because I want to use 2-space indentation. An editor config is a good way of kind of normalizing that between projects. So I just copied one from a previous project. I don't need all that, but say I do some Python. I like to use 4 spaces in Python, 2 in JavaScript. Alright, so I'm back at this. Client, what channels does this thing want to be on? Well, how about it just joins mine? And they use the, I think they can use the pound notation here because Twitch actually uses, I think, a modified IRC server in the background. And my identity, you know what, I'm going to do this. And I am going to do... let's just leave that for now. You know what? To make this simpler, I'm going to tweak that file a little bit. Off screen, of course, because it's got secrets. Sorry, folks. I'm going to rename that to chat identity. I'm going to add a thing. So it wants username password, so I'm going to change that. So what I have done, if I can get to the right window, and I hope I haven't revealed it through the Alt-Tab previews. That's going to be my chat identity. You know what, let's just do this. This is kind of grungy, but the other thing I might do... yeah, let's do this. I'm going to copy that file and try to make sure I don't accidentally check it into GitHub when I do eventually create a GitHub repo. And just kind of a way to include resources as examples. So I created a copy of the identity file with -dist, and that's the one that I'm going to check into source control. You know, and actually this is also something I copy over from other projects. Yeah, those are some good ones to ignore. Gonna do that. Well, let's add a line. Let's say, I also want to ignore, because now that we got some sensitive data in there, I never want to accidentally check that into Git. Let's see where we're at with that. What does Git think things look like? You know, this is a fresh install of Windows on this machine, and I'm missing all kinds of configuration stuff. Let's see if I can do this. That's better. Okay. So yeah, so the next time I do a git commit, I'm going to accidentally commit the credentials. Which, I mean, there's enough to change, but I don't want to have to do that already. And hopefully I don't see anyone pop into my chat as the name of my bot and troll me, because that'd be rude. Alright, moving along. I think we're almost to a point where I can have something connect to Twitch. I'll give it the identity, give it with the channels. Yeah, so this is this is basically what it takes to make a simple bot right here. So I can say, and that's going to be, yeah, let's just copy pasta this actually. Let's just copy pasta this. I can work from there. You know what else I want? I want to install Prettier because that'll help me format my code. Alrighty, so I think I have a chat bot right now. Let's see what it does. Let's run it. Like it's running, but it doesn't say anything. No errors. So that's cool. Does it do anything? Oh, and it crashed immediately. Alright. Oh, I know what's happened. It's because the example said... Oh, you know what? I don't need that. Let's try that. Running. I should really have it say some more things. Hello. So there we go. Stream's over. I've got a chatbot. Chatbot's all done. But how about this? Okay. Some optimizations. What I want to do, I would like it if this thing restarted when I edited the code, so I don't have to continually keep going back to this shell. Well, let's do this. There's this thing called nodemon that will watch files, and when those files change, restart some node process. There's another thing we can do with that too to make life easier for myself. Actually, let's wait until that finishes installing. That is taking an awful long time. Let's look at the Google page for, or look at the docs page for NodeMon real quick. Pretty simple thing. NodeMon. Your Node app. Okay, that's the thing that I was remembering about it. It runs Node for you. So you can have NodeMon run a non-Node command. Hi there, Palasi? Palasi? Hi. How are you doing? So another thing I like to do on Node projects, there's a section of NPM, or of package.json, lets me define scripts. And what's nice about that is all the little weird command invocations. Policy. You're fine. Nice to hear. I'm doing pretty good too. Do things like NodeMon index.js. Did that already get added to the... I think I overwrote it. Dagnabbit. Oh, no. I already did that. Never mind. Go ahead. Quit. The other thing you can do is you can configure NodeMon in package.json. What you coding? So what I'm coding is... I should probably put this in the title of my stream. I wasn't sure what I was going to code at first, but what I am coding now is I'm building a chatbot for Twitch that will connect to a web page that I'm going to stick into my stream, and you'll be able to throw chat commands at the bot and make fireworks show up on the screen. At least that's my idea right now. I'm just kind of doodling towards that. Hopefully it'll be fun. It'll probably be really fun to abuse. So then probably my next features will be limiting abuse. But, you know, that's kind of putting the cart before the horse. This song is getting really industrial. What else do we want to hear? I do not want to hear 12 minutes of this. Let's try. This is like a 9 Inch Nails B-side. Let's do that. You're not really into web development? But you do development? Like what kind of development do you do, Policy? You know what, actually... Oh, this app. It's, this app is a thing called Chip Machine. And it's not mine, but I do have a fork of it that I've been doing a little work on. And it's a fun little thing. It pulls in music from something like a dozen sites. And it's all chip music, it's all Amiga mods, game songs, and it's got this neat little UI that I've stuck over there. Over there on the other side of the screen. Howdy, Pixelogic. You know what? I should put this up on my screen, actually. Let's do this. I'm being remiss and not putting my to-do up. So what I'm starting to work on... Thanks for the follow, Pixelogic. Yeah, so this thing, Chip Machine, it's a cool little open source music player. My to-do list. Let me go into studio mode on this thing real quick. Yeah, there we go. Let's bring my to-do list up so I can describe what I'm making today. So what I'm working on today, and I'm going to put this in the to-do list while I'm doing it, I am working on a chat bot that's going to be combined with a web page. So I can use the web page as an overlay on my stream, And maybe from the chat bot, folks in my chat can make fireworks appear and various things like that. Nothing super original. I mean, there's already services that do that. But I'm going to mostly do it from scratch, so that's going to be the fun thing. So there we go. That might help a little bit. I'm going to throw that up in the corner of my my stream there. It's not super descriptive, but maybe I'll work on this to-do list as I go. Yeah, so it's nothing super original, but it's the first time that I'm playing with it, so I'm kind of looking at something not super ambitious as a learning project. And also, like, I can kind of explain things as I go along. What was I doing? Oh yeah, so the next thing I was doing is I installed NodeMon. And what I can do is do... No? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. npm start. That's a nice little shortcut. So I threw start under script in my package.json, and it does nodemon index.js. So that means I don't need to remember that command. I can just grab my project and say npm start, and it'll do the thing. And what that thing is it's going to start up my chatbot, and whenever I edit it, it's going to restart the chatbot. So, like, I don't know, let's see, is this going to let me do this? Yeah, no, that's not very nice. Anyways, let's see if this works. Yeah, no, my scene switcher isn't going to let me do that. Anyway, I was going to do them side by side. But basically, if I edit this, the chatbot should restart. So if I do that, and I go back to my shell, it's going to restart due to changes. It reruns my script. And so the nice thing about this is I can just go ahead and keep editing my node script, and quietly in the background, it's going to quit and restart the script every time I make a change. And that startup is not super expensive, so I can just do that as often as I want. So it kind of means I can just stay here in my editor, and my latest changes are going to just appear in the chatbot. Alright, back to the chatbot. This is just basically copy and pasted from the docs for Twitch.js. So what do I want to do next? I don't know, let's add a command. Now here I can start to get really complicated. What I'm literally looking for is, say... I want to make it easier to add some commands. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. Make this a little more extendable and modular. Right off the bat. How about... Let's do that. And I'm going to say... So what I'm doing here is basically making a dispatch table for messages, and I'm not doing any parsing. So this is just straight up what the message is. And this is a pattern I use in a lot of projects. I kind of like it. Helps me simplify some boilerplate. And if I'm lucky, that's not a syntax error. What would I name that anyway? Oh, you know what? That's not even a command. So if I just say hello, the bot says hello. And if we want to make that look more like a... you know what? That's cute. I'm just going to leave it that way. So if anybody says hello, just hello, that's going to happen. So now I got myself a tiny chatbot. Maybe the next thing to add is a web server. So moving right along, I can get a web page going. Do I want the chatbot to do anything else first? Maybe not. So I guess at this point, if anyone wants to say hello, just type hello, and my bot will say hello to you. The next thing I want to do is use Koa, because I think I installed Koa, didn't I? Koa, yeah, Koa is installed, so that's going to be my web server. No, I don't want to load package lock. Okay, Koa. What is the minimal web server in Koa? I install it, yada yada yada. What version did I install? I installed Koa 252. Okay. So these examples should work. Let's just copy this for now, because this is a pretty good example. And you know what? This app is starting to get a little complicated, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to paste that in. But now what I'm going to do... This is another pattern I like to do. Just to kind of start to organize this better. And we can move this around further later, but just to kind of try to... And eventually these things could even move into their own modules. And then this init function kind of serves as like a table of contents to the rest of this file. And just to be sure that doesn't get called until everything in the file is defined, I put that down at the bottom. Alright, so now we have a combination web server chatbot, if I haven't gotten any syntax errors. Looks like Windows isn't sure about this, but I'm going to allow access. And you know what? I didn't have any log message for starting a web server. I like to have it be a little chatterbox so it tells me what it's doing. So NodeMon is restarting it. Starting web server, starting chatbot, awesome. So, where are we? We have a web server. Cool, so I'll just pin that tab over there. So what next? We got a web server, we got a chatbot. They're not talking to each other. What do I want to do next? I'd like to have them talk to each other. I'm going to do this with WebSockets. And I've had some weird... You know, I'm going to cheat a little bit and look at another project, because I'm trying to remember exactly how to set up WebSockets. I'm going to cheat, but this is basically like Googling my own code, I think. And I actually haven't cloned that code, so... Let's clone that repo to this machine, because this machine's been recently formatted. So I am going to clone Caffeina bot. This is another bot that I started working on that isn't actually a bot yet. And what I'm mainly interested in is not to like copy too much from this, but just to see how I set up the WebSockets, because I have WebSockets working on this other project. I cloned it. There's the project. And I believe I used WS for the WebSocket server. Yeah, and actually I could use another. I really wish these windows had splits. Let's do that. Let's do that real quick. Well, WS. What else am I using on this? This project is kind of a mess right now. I'm going to use a UID. I'm not doing any authentication yet, so you can't sign. So on this other project, I've actually got Twitch authentication working. I don't know if I'm going to do that here or not yet. Well, I was trying to remember what else I was doing over here. Yeah, let me do, these things are all going to come in handy. Route, core router. These are all more parts that are going to fill into the server. At some point I'll probably bring in Webpack just to build the server-side code, or the client-side code, but I don't think I need it yet. Yeah, so here I'm using WebSocket. Yeah, this is kind of the magic-y bit right here. So I am just going to copy this code for now and rework it a little bit and explain what I'm doing as I rework it. So I think there are easier ways to do this, but combining Koa and this WebSockets Lib module I found challenging in an annoying way. And also combining it with my authentication. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I'm just kind of copying some of my boilerplate code from this other project, and I'm going to delete a bunch of it. Okay, and explain what I'm doing. All right. So we create a WebSocket server, and this part I don't think I need. Well, I do need. So one of the things that is interesting in WebSocket security is you'd like to make sure that the request to the WebSocket is coming from a page on your site and not some other site. So that's what this bit is here. And this bit here is actually authentication, but this chatbot has no auth yet, so we're not going to do that. Let's do that like now. The thing that we're doing here, I don't know. This will become a thing at some point. We're launching this thing from localhost. So let's just call it I mean, I'm only running it on my machine, but someday it's useful to remember to do this. So this locks the WebSocket to localhost. Let's leave myself some to-dos. Now this bit, we're going to need to bring in some more libraries. Oops. There we go. So now this bit is saying that the WebSocket lives at a path of /socket. So the URL to connect to this WebSocket is going to be http blah 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 localhost /socket. And it will not, this little bit will not answer to any other URL on the site, which is good. So you're limited to that. Now we got this bit here. So you know this is a little verbose, so I'm going to get rid of that. This is saying on a connection. We don't have any users. But one thing I do like doing here, I'm going to bring this in. On a WebSocket connection, I like to give the WebSocket client a UUID so that if there are multiple connections, I can actually identify them. And when I did have a user in here, I could say, like, I have a unique identifier for every WebSocket connection from a user. But, you know, we're not going to do anything about that here. And this is an interesting logger that I have from another project. But, you know, I'm not going to bring in that logger quite yet because that seems like overkill for this little thing. So all we're doing here is just indicating that a WebSocket connection happened. Now here's where some of the magic happens. On connection, we get a connection to the client, and on a message from the WebSocket, this is what I'm doing. I'm asserting that over the WebSocket we're going to get JSON messages. And these JSON messages will have a property of event. And that will correspond to functions I throw here. Not unlike what I started doing for chat commands down here. So that makes it kind of nice and expandable. And this file's getting a little long, so at some point I might start breaking it up into modules, but we're still kind of doodling. Now I added a WebSocket server, but there's no web page yet. So why don't I start a new directory? Let's call it web. Really original. And this is, I don't even have Webpack or anything yet, so I'm just totally doing this like by the seat of my pants. I don't even remember. This is how you do that. I look this up every single time. I don't even know what I just did. Ah, yeah, I should actually capitalize that, I guess. So it's HTML. Help if I didn't typo so much. And yeah, let's say such butterfingers today. that how you do this? My fingers are dyslexic today. Jiminy cricket. It's just a really, really dumb, simple web app. And this is just the kind of thing I like to do to kind of like limber myself up towards actually building the web app. Of course, one of the next things we're going to need here is coeth static. And this is how you serve up static files. It's pretty simple. So from the example, we can do that. I don't think we need any options. So we need a root directory string, which I think I'm going to say is, let's do this. So we're going to serve this up from path name web, dir name web. Do we want to... yeah, we like that default. We don't care about hidden files, max age, whatever. What happened to my music? Next, please. Okay, yeah, so all these things seem fine. I don't think I need any options right now. So, do that. You know, we can make this easier to understand. Little pet peeve, I like double quoted strings, not single quoted strings. All my examples have been using single quoted strings. Arg. App use. I don't really need to do this, but helps to start organizing things. Eventually, this will probably be in a config file of some sort. Alright. Actually, no, I don't need this anymore. So, we are restarting. Oh, and I actually haven't installed all that. I thought that was installing in the background. I've been programming with modules that I don't have installed yet. And you know what? Pretty soon, I should actually start a GitHub repo. While that's installing, let's create a new repository, shall we? Let's call it, start a dash in the name, SparkleBot. Let's just call it that. Okay, where are we so far? This might be a good check-in point. Been streaming for an hour and 20 minutes so far. I'm aiming for 2 hours before I take a break. About an hour. See if I come back. What happens if I load this? Oh, unable to connect because it's not running, in fact. Let me take this opportunity to run it in a different window. Good. You know, my scene switcher is super confused. So that crashed. But I think I know why. Oh, you know what it is? This is built to run from a pre-constructed server handed to it via Webpack. Let's do this. Kind of cheating a little more, copying some other crap. You know what? Let's break this up a little more. How about do this? Because I remembered something. No. So I can actually create the HTTP server separate from the Koa app. So yeah, let's do this. This is starting to get a little complicated. Yeah, let's do this. I'm just kind of separating these things a little bit. They may end up living in separate modules at some point. Yeah, right. I think that's all correct. Actually, I want to do server listen. Eventually, this stuff will go into a config file. But for now, we're just kind of gradually getting there. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, how about that? How about that? just kind of splitting out the Koa app and the server so that then we can reuse the server to initialize WebSockets. This WebSockets also listens on the web server port. And since I copied and pasted a lot of this code from another project, I'm sure there are things I'm leaving out. Oh yeah, I misspelled that. HTTP is not defined, okay. And this is what I get for cheating. What other dependencies are we missing? Maybe not much. Base URL is not defined. Didn't I define it up here? Yeah. Let's just go ahead and rename that across the file. What do you think about that? Starting chatbot. Cool. And there's my little web page. So actually, this is a good point to check in, I think. So you know what I'm going to do from the shell? I'm going to do the new repository dance. Which is get init, get commit. Yeah, okay, so. Got all these new files. So we got our initial commit. It's got a working web server and chatbot. And showing the diff is not super useful right now because it's just all new files. And it's a bit of copied code, it's a bit of new code. Either way, let's get it onto GitHub and I can start sharing my work. Let's add that remote. Oops, why is that? I don't think I have an SSH key set up on here. Now, why don't we try this real quick, because sometimes that gets annoying. I'm sure this is going to be an error, because I already set up the remote. Yeah. I forget. Add or remove. I do not want to do that. See, this is a brand new install of Windows, and there's a lot of things I have not yet set up. And it's going to ask me for my password and crap, right? No? Well, alrighty then. So, and voila, we have a project on GitHub. Now, let's let you all know where this is. So if you happen to want to check out my code, way up above my head in the corner there's a to-do. Go ahead and look at that. It's streaming for an hour and a half. Oh, time flies by. So I'm probably going to take a break in about a half hour. Get some dinner for the household. And then come back and stream some more. But I'm not done yet. So I'm just letting you know, I got about a half hour left. I'm going to take a break. I'm hoping by then I've got something interesting. What do we got so far? We got one big file. It's got a web server in it. It's got a WebSocket server in it. It's got a chatbot in it. I just want to make it a little chattier. Make sure it runs. So right now it's pretty simple. It runs with npm start. Oh, you know what else I need to do for this thing? Let's just start adding to our to-dos. The things like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna need to cue you in on that. My music has stopped. I don't want my music to stop. Next song, please. Oh, I crashed my music player. That happens when I build and run my own. Now, the other thing I might do is while I'm taking a break, I will probably host someone else from the hackathon, at least until I come back. Okay, music player's back. Let's go back to shuffling. Yeah, I'd like to do. Actually, let's do this. Let's do. Man. Let's get One Man and His Droid from Rob Hubbard. Let's save that. And you know what? I'm gonna shuffle the format. This is decidedly not a Commodore 64 mod. What I want to do is shuffle format. There we go. Just give me all Commodore 64 stuff right now. Okay, back to it. So right now, we've got a server. The server has the server runs a web server. It runs a WebSocket listener. It hosts a static little web app here. And it has a chatbot. Now, one of the things that's not happening yet is the chatbot doesn't talk to the web server, and the web app doesn't talk to the web server by the WebSockets. So my next step is to get the web app talking to WebSockets, listening for messages. You know what I think I might start doing soon? Actually, let's do this. This is going to be a little weird inside baseball. Here is OBS. Here is what I'm going to do next. Go here, Just maybe this little hello world here sticking here. Now what's nice about this is an OBS browser source is transparent. As long as I don't screw around with the background, I can have this little web page here. Now eventually I want that to do things. So I'm going to play with it a little more, I think. It's kind of distracting. It says hello world right there in the middle of my screen. Now, you know what, I'm going to edit that again. I think I want it to be a little smaller. Okay, let's see what I'm doing. There's the weird camera effect. So I just stuck hello world over here on the side. This is distracting. Let me get this back off. Back to my editor. Alright. Now what would also be nice is if I had the web server auto reload. So kind of like piecing things together from scratch here. Maybe you can try a live reload, maybe Koa reload. How old is this? 2 years ago? A year ago? That might be new enough. Get repo though. The thing is, I'm not using Webpack yet. I may use Webpack at some point. I may regret not using it immediately, but I didn't want to jump into all that setup. What do we do? Koa hot reload? I don't know if that's what I want. See, that's the thing, is like I don't know that standalone hot reload things are in vogue anymore since people just use Webpack. Maybe it's time to use Webpack. Maybe this'll just work. I remember how complicated it was to get WebSockets to work. The main reason I want to use live reload is so that my browser source over here will automatically reload as I edit, so I don't have to keep going back to OBS to muck with things. Well, I don't need this. I don't need this. Are you using anything interesting? You're not. Oh, horse. You know what? I might just take the plunge and dive in the Webpack to get live reloading. Hey, I don't know what that is. I don't think I like it. I don't think it's what I'm looking for. Yeah, this is all older stuff that I haven't used in a long time, and I don't know if I do want to use it, so maybe I should bite the bullet and start getting into WebSockets, or start getting into Webpack. Fine. Let's do this. You see that? You can. Webpack isn't that complicated to set up. I like to avoid it, but... Okay, that's more complicated than I wanted. Mother effer. Well, I'm gonna cheat and borrow more code from my other project. Do I really want to do that? Yeah, I'm just kind of mulling over now. How complicated do I want to make this project right now? Especially since a lot of this ends up just being copying and pasting from another project. No me gusta. Okay. Well, look at some other things I'm doing over here. Because I'm trying to refresh myself on how I did things like WebSockets and whatnot. Yeah, I'm gonna bite the bullet. Time to go for Webpack. So setting up Webpack. The new Webpack, some of the new Webpack stuff is nice because you can do it. There's a Webpack serve that's based on Koa, which is also why I picked Koa. So you can embed your own like web server app inside a Webpack dev server. So do all this. All I want is live reload right now. This is bothering me. I'm actually kind of hoping I can avoid Webpack and just build a plain JavaScript app at first. But I want that live reload. So I'm trying to figure this out. I'm going to the cat visiting. How do folks do live reload these days? They do it with live reload, or they do it with Webpack. People just do Webpack. Maybe I'm like swimming against the stream here. Because this is all I want right now. But this has like been barely touched in months. You know what, I am gonna try this. It looks kinda old, but maybe that just means it's mature and stable. So let's try this. Eventually I'll probably replace this with Webpack and I'll bite the bullet. Trying to keep it simple. Trying to keep it simple, trying to write a lot of stuff from scratch. Now what I need to do is figure out how to set up the server side. This doesn't come with the server side. Does it? Well, Jiminy Cricket. I don't want the live reload app. I would like the live reload server. Is this what I'm after? Okay. This does look like what I'm after. Let's try this. Look for an example dummy server. I don't need all this. Don't care. Care about that. This has been done before. I'm trying to figure out... I've used this before. I've just never done it kind of from scratch. I don't even... Well, yeah. Last time I used it was in Gulp, actually. I don't want the Mac app. Basically, I just want to run the server that watches for file changes and tells the browser to reload itself. And I usually do this through Webpack. And I was kind of hoping for a quick little node module to throw at this thing. And I guess this is probably it. It's 6 years old. Oh, sweet Jiminy Cricket. Okay. I think I'm just heading down the wrong path. I can do the overkill thing, I know how it works. Let's get rid of those dependencies. Let's bite the bullet and use Webpack. What else do I need? Webpack, Webpack serve. Pack CLI. I'm gonna need a CSS loader. And again, I'm cheating. I'm borrowing this stuff from another project. Babel loader. Copy Webpack plugin. Got a CSS loader. At some point I want some ESLint. Go file loader. Shmuel Webpack. Webpack plugin. Extract plugin. I guess Webpack loader. At some point I might use React on this. Trying to avoid it as much as possible. else we need? Style loader. Yeah, that'll be good for now. Alright, let's make us a Webpack plugin, or Webpack config. Alright, you know, I'm about 10 minutes away from a break, so I think this is going to be the last thing I'm going to do for a bit. I'm referring to my old code here because I don't remember how to set this up always. My cat is shaking my desk. So we got to set up the entry point for Webpack. We got to set up the output path. Call that See, the problem with this is that I've had a bunch of little success with things I've been building, and now I've suddenly hit a wall of like setting up stupid Webpack. You're getting a lot of buffering. I wonder if my machine's getting kind of bogged down. Might be my side, not your side. Yeah, I am doing a lot of stuff right now. I'm like installing all these NPM modules that might be interrupt my upstream speed. Hopefully that ends soon. Yeah, let's just copy pasta this. I'm trying not to just copy stuff from another project. I can kind of explain it as I go. But I guess that's the reality of it a lot of times. I just copy-paste from other projects. Let's do this real quick. I'm hoping this is going to buy me a bunch later on. Oops. So what I'm doing here, set up Webpack to build my front-end app. It's going to take these source files, spit them into build after doing its magic. Yeah, I indeed want some source maps. This is the interesting part. It's going to come up in a second. Webpack lets you hook into its server, its dev server. And what's interesting about that is the web server runs Koa. And even though I created my own server over here in index.js, I'm going to shift that responsibility over to Webpack's dev server. In part. Let's see, set up the content path. I'm gonna give myself about 5 more minutes on this and I gotta take a break. What am I doing about plugins? Alright, so this bit here is just setting up the server. And it's not this stuff. I'm not doing this stuff yet. See, this is part of why I started breaking up this index.js into these functions, because I found it useful in another project to have the Webpack server initialize everything. I may go back to that. It kind of sucks because I'm like shifting a bunch of responsibility over into Webpack as a server runner. But oh well. Then my plugins, what am I using? I'm using these. Not using that. Some of this is just kind of some boilerplate that I found for generating my CSS and whatnot. And this is actually all pretty simple going on from here. So I'm gonna cheat and just copy it in from another project because I don't want to do it all from scratch again. So what I'm doing here, oh yeah, I need to install some more modules. Just kind of setting up my favored JavaScript development environment. And I'm looking at this stuff to remind me what all it is that I pull in. And I am actually gonna cheat even more. Did I finish installing back there? I am not done installing back there. Okay, well, let's keep looking through here. So, yada yada yada, Webpack, Webpack, Webpack. Webpack runs on rules for handling files. This is my setup for JavaScript. I don't do any processing to node modules. I use Babel Loader to transpile my JavaScript. I'm not using React right now, so I'm just going to comment that out. But I do like using the REST spread proposal and class properties, and I'll probably like get into those later. And this preset end just kind of goes at, actually that requires a bit in package JSON, where you can say I want to build my JavaScript to support the last 2 versions of browsers. Oh, it's got a text from him. Yes. Alright. Where were we? Alright. Waiting for modules to install in the background, and they're still going. Welcome to Professional Web Development 2018. This is kind of a lame version of this song. Alright, you know what? I am at 2 hours. I need a break. I'm going to finish installing NPM modules. And I will be back. Probably, I may take an hour break. See what happens. Maybe I'll be back in 20 minutes. Either way, cheers. Hopefully I'll see you again real soon. Let me see. Maybe I'll set it. I'll give you I don't have a timer set up for that. Anyway, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna auto host somebody else who's streaming right now. And then hopefully I'll break back in after a little bit.